What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be continuing with the Neptune through the houses series, and I am going to be speaking about having your Neptune in your partner's 6th house in synastry. When it comes to having your partner's Neptune falling in your 6th house, this is going to affect the everyday lives, because the 6th house is the house to do with the more mundane part of life, and this is the things like the daily routines as well as things to do with work. And it's a Virgo ruled house. This is the house of service. This is the house that has to do with health as well, and it has to do with just daily responsibilities. So having a planet like Neptune, which is all about illusions, which is a very foggy, mystical, and even spiritual planet coming into this house, this is going to bring a little bit of some shaking up of another person's routine, and the impact is going to be seen in the daily life when it comes to having your Neptune falling in someone's 6th house. And with Neptune coming into this house, there can even be a little bit of some confusion or a sense of feeling like there is a mix up between what feels like fantasy and what feels like practical energy and practicality when it comes to handling daily routines and just daily life. In fact, when it comes to having this synastry with someone, it is possible that the 6th house person is someone who is more so methodical, someone who has a more structured and routine way of approaching life compared to the Neptune person. And the Neptune person kind of takes them out of that way of going about their daily routine. And the Neptune person can also bring into the 6th house person's life a sense of being able to look at things from a lens that's not always just simply a practical one. So the Neptune person coming into the 6th house person's life does bring in a sense of imagination, especially when it comes to their routine. So they kind of take them out of that, but the 6th house person may be someone who, they could even be a perfectionist. They could be someone who is very much into doing things a particular way. But with the Neptune person here, the Neptune person is going to shake up the 6th house person's outlook on that. And also when it comes to Neptune, the Neptune person has a way of making things feel and look like there's the sense of viewing things in a way where they become more ideal. So when it comes to the mundane things in their relationship, they can come to find that there is a sense of added enjoyment in going through the mundane things and the things that need to be done on a consistent and daily basis. Because with Neptune, this is really looking at things from a more imaginative perspective, and there is also a sense of even looking at things from a more ideal way of looking at them. So with the Neptune person, there is also the potential of being able to enjoy the mundane things with the 6th house person more in this relationship when it comes to what they're bringing to the 6th house person and their everyday life. However, if there's going to be a challenge with this, it is in how if the 6th house person wants to stick to a certain routine, Neptune person here is going to take them out of that routine. And also when it comes to their approaches towards certain routines, the Neptune person may actually have a new way that they introduce to the 6th house person. And that could be for the better, but it can also be something that really disrupts the 6th house person's routine and changes things for the 6th house person. And that can really push the 6th house person and the Neptune person to need to establish boundaries. With Neptune, this can be a planet that has this energy of blurring the boundaries. And with this in the 6th house, this can really be where the boundaries are going to need to be established, which is going to be things to do with the 6th house, like the chores, the routine, the structure that is going to be used and put in place when it comes to approaching the daily responsibilities. And even if they are trying to work to live together, it's going to also come up when it comes to the chores, the work, and even the way in which they handle health is going to be impacted by having this synastry with someone. And when it comes to having this Neptune in the 6th house overlay, it is either going to make things better or it's going to just complicate things in the 6th house person's life with the Neptune person. And It can also happen that on the other hand, that the sixth house person is kind of making the Neptune person feel boxed in because this energy is so different. The sixth house person may even be a kind of person who's a perfectionist, the kind of person who likes to have checklists and doing things a certain way, which is kind of opposite to the Neptune energy. In this relationship with the Neptune person can learn a lot from the sixth house person, but it can also kind of stifle them at times. And with the sixth house also being about health, even the way that they approach health can be different, or it can be something that is also going to be a source of needing to establish and set clear boundaries or clear expectations. The Neptune person may go the more spiritual route when it comes to health. And this can look like things like meditation, things like yoga, and it can be opposite to the sixth house person. In some cases, the sixth house person may already have worked out a routine, especially even when it comes to how they do handle and approach things like health. If the Neptune person coming in here, they may have a different way of approaching it. And so when it comes to their relationship, this too can throw things off at times. And when it comes to just responsibilities, everyday life, that is something that's possible between the sixth house person and the Neptune person. But in the positive, the synastry is one that can be quite beneficial to both the Neptune person and the sixth house person. For the Neptune person, they may feel like the sixth house person brings a sense of structure into their lives, as well as also the Neptune person is able to actually bring a sense of being able to help the sixth house person relax more, be able to see things from a different perspective to what the sixth house person may be inclined to when it comes to the everyday life and the more mundane responsibilities in life. The Neptune person may even idealize the sixth house person's way of approaching everyday life and the everyday tasks. And for that reason, the Neptune person can inspire the sixth house person and also give the sixth house person a sense of perspective over what they are doing in the more mundane aspects of life. And when it comes to this, the Neptune person adds this extra layer of being able to see things in a more magical way, or in a way where things feel like they are more than what they simply are or practically are. But there's definitely a sense that the sixth house person adds a layer of groundedness to the Neptune person's life. They bring structure into their life and even a sense of stability to this more imaginative side that the Neptune person may have. And if it's ever that the Neptune person is being unrealistic or is looking at things through a more unrealistic lens, the sixth house person has a way of bringing the Neptune person back down to earth. Because between the sixth house person and the Neptune person may be the one who has a harder time when it comes to keeping up with the details in things, whereas this may be more of a strength for the sixth house person. But the relationship between the sixth house person and the Neptune person can be very beneficial. And when it comes to the sixth house person, they may feel that the Neptune person helps them see life in a more meaningful way. And when it comes to the sixth house person and how they feel about the Neptune person in this relationship, they can be the sense of being able to feel a sense of calmness and a sense of caringness from the Neptune person towards them that they really appreciate about the Neptune person in this relationship. Because the Neptune person can help them when it comes to being able to tap into a sense of being able to unwind and even find balance because of that more calm energy. And how the Neptune person offers a sense of emotional support to the sixth house person when it comes to the everyday matters in life and just handling the everyday matters in life. However, when it comes to any challenges within this relationship with this overlay, it can be in how at times the Neptune person may also kind of experience the sense of really getting carried away with their own imagination and kind of drifting away from the realities of life. And when that happens, the sixth house person kind of has all of the responsibilities fall on them, which can be overwhelming for the sixth house person. But at the same time, when it comes to the Neptune person, they may feel like they have a harder time understanding what exactly the sixth house person expects from them in this relationship. When it comes to what exactly the sixth house person needs from the Neptune person when it comes to the everyday life things. especially since Neptune is such a foggy energy, can bring some uncertainty and lack of clarity around things to do with the sixth house. So when it comes to the more challenging sides of this relationship, that is where the challenges can lie with this overlay. Because even for the sixth house person, when it comes to this experience of feeling as though everything is falling on them, they may feel used, they may even feel taken for granted within this relationship with the Neptune person. Because at times they can very easily fall into the role of having to take care of the more real life responsibilities and details in this relationship with the Neptune person. They also can feel as though the responsibility of keeping things running falls on them with the Neptune person. And even in things like chores and things to do with work and responsibilities that happen on a daily basis, it feels as though with the Neptune person and the sixth house person, there can be a little bit of some confusion that comes up from time to time. And actually, even a possible fear that the sixth house person may feel with the Neptune person is that the Neptune person is never going to be able to meet their expectations in the real world. They can actually feel the sense of being very drawn to a very mystical, otherworldly energy within the Neptune person. And the sixth house person may feel as though they're idealizing the Neptune person in this way, even though that more dreamy side of Neptune is what is attractive to the sixth house person in the Neptune person to begin with. And when it comes to the health and the approaches towards health, when it comes to the Neptune person entering into the sixth house person's life, and actually kind of introducing the sixth house person to an alternative way of being able to experience healing, as well as taking on a more holistic and non-traditional way of handling health. This can be something that's very helpful and beneficial to the sixth house person, but at the same time, it is also necessary to have a sense of management over the real health concerns that the sixth house person may have, instead of avoiding. And this is where the disadvantages can come in. But when it comes to the Neptune person and the sixth house person, and especially things to do with health and healing, they can develop different methods. Because when it comes to their relationship with that very service-oriented nature of the sixth house and the very compassionate side of the Neptune person, this is a relationship where they can experience being able to develop very beneficial and helpful ways of contributing towards healing. And between the practical support from the sixth house person and the spiritual and even compassionate and healing side of the Neptune person, this can make a very great combination and they can work quite well together. This relationship is one that is a very service-oriented relationship in this regard. Well, that does it for this video on having your Neptune falling in your partner's sixth house in SYNASTRY. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it and that you found it helpful. And if you did, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe to the channel for more videos. Well, that is where I love and leave you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.